All right, good morning, online learners. It's Mr. Brown. It's time for another episode of Will Photopea Work Today? Just kidding. All right, what we're going to be doing is, from this point on, because we have been having so many issues with Photopea, we're going to just do some modified assignments versus the one that we're doing in class with Photoshop. So for online learners, we're going to be modifying the assignments a little bit so that you're still getting the basic skills, but they're just not as complex because Photopea loves to just, crash. So I'm going to come down to, we're going to start today. Make sure you go to photopea.com. And we're just you only need the image of the Corvette today. Only need the image of the Corvette. We're not going to do the sky replacement. So we just need to go to File and we need to go to Open. And I'm going to go to my photo library because this is my iPad. And I'm going to click on the picture of our Corvette and hit Add. And here we go. Excuse me for the clearing my throat. It's still kind of early. So what we want to do is we want to recolor this Corvette. And we want to make some changes to the image to make it pop a little bit more. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a second layer, a second version of the Corvette, another layer where it's just the Corvette, just the car isolated. So to do that, we're going to need to start by creating another layer just so that we have it there ready to go. And so now I have my layer one and I have my background, and I'm going to come back and make sure you click back on your background. Make sure I double clicked or triple clicked. I don't know what I did, but make sure you're on your background. And we're going to come up here. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4th tool down. It is the object selection tool, which we have not had a lot of success with, but we're going to try it today and see if it can actually select the car. So you just drag a square and, well, it kind of worked. So because we're doing the color of the car, we don't really need this windshield, so it's okay if it's not colored. But I do kind of want this part. So I'm going to change my tool to the quick select tool. So you click and hold to do this. Oh, I clicked too much. Click and hold, and it'll bring up click and hold, not on an iPad, and it will bring up the other tool. And it looks like I have managed to lose my selection. So now I get to do this all again. And mine's not working. Hold on. Let's try it again. There we go. I'm going to change my tools. I lost my selection, so I have to reselect it. Oh, no, my screen locked up. So I'm going to refresh. Of course, this is a common thing with Photopea on my iPad. I'm not sure if it does it on your Chromebooks. It doesn't do it on my computer, but it does do it on my iPad a lot. Unfortunately, the computer runs too slow to record anything, so we have to do it here. All right, let's try it one more time. Quick selection, our object selection tool, we're good. And we're going to just select our object, and I'm going to try to trim this down a little bit. Maybe it'll get a little more accurate if I get closer. So I'm just drawing a square around the car, and I'm going to let go. And it did about the same. And we've got some definite problems here. So I'm going to change to my quick selection. And I'm just going to click and add this part of the car into the selection. It's supposed to do that, but it is not doing that at all. And then it did too much. So I'm going to try to subtract that. And I think we're good, except now I think it's got the ground. So I'm going to, with my minus selected, I'm going to just drag. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. And I think we've got some trees over here. And we've got some of this. And we've got some of that. And I'm just going to try to get rid of the ground. It looks like we're getting pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and change it back to the add. If you look up at the top, there's a plus and a minus when you're trying to refine it. So I'm just on the plus now. And I'm going to try to add back the hood of the car. And this is the problem I constantly have with Photopea, is that it's constantly just not selecting the right stuff. So I'm going to go back to minus and see if I can subtract the... Okay, well, that's getting us somewhere. I'm going to zoom back out by hitting Command or Control minus. This is really close, and I almost really hate to screw it up, but we've got this little bitty spot right here that we just really need to get. Like, we just really need to get this. Let me come back out so I can see it. And I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to see if I can get it without it getting the whole sky. Except it did, I don't know what it did. I'm going to have to Command Z. All right, so we're going to leave it like this. We're just going to go with it because it is being difficult. So if you can get somewhere close to this, that is awesome. And because I reset it, I don't have my new layer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click my new layer. And I'm going to come back down and make sure I'm on my background layer. So I'm on background, and I'm going to hit Command. On my computer, it's Command C. On yours, it would be probably Control C to copy. So Command C. I'm going to come to my layer that's empty, and I'm going to hit Command, or for you, Control V. And what we should get, if we turn off the bottom layer, we should be able to see mostly the car. So that's pretty decent. We're going to go with it. And now what we need to do is change the color of the car, and we're going to do that by adding an adjustment layer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my adjustment layers. It's this little half circle thing down here. And I'm going to go to Hue Saturation. So you've got at the top color fill, excuse me, oh goodness, color fill, gradient pattern, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go down to Hue Saturation. And here, we're going to just kind of play around with it. That's the saturation. That's how you make it black and white. That's how you make it color. Looks great. We don't really want to do that. We really want to just mess with the hue right now. So let's change the hue. Now you can see that it is adjusting the color of everything, and hopefully we will be able to fix that. Well, we may not be able to fix that. I may have to make a mask to make this work, but that's okay. So in the last tutorial, I made it red. I think this time I'm going to just go with this really, really nice blue here. And you can play around with the lightness to get it how you want it. You guys can do whatever color you want to do. Whatever color you want. So, yeah. We're going to leave that. And so normally what you would do in Photoshop, there is a button here, and I did forget that there's no button. So what we're going to have to do is come back over here to our Hue Saturation layer. And we are going to have to, I'm going to turn it off really quickly. And we are going to have to do a selection and make a mask. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the selection button, and I'm going to go object selection. And since it's just the Corvette, hopefully it will select just the Corvette and we'll be okay. It's not actually doing anything. So I'm going to hit Command A maybe. Nope. It might have just locked up completely again, which is not good. Sorry guys, you know how much Photopea is awful. That's not what I wanted to do. So let's try this. Select all. No, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to go to my layer that says layer 1. I'm going to go to select. I'm going to deselect what I just selected, and I'm going to try hitting select all. It's still getting all of it. This definitely does not work like Photoshop does, which is very frustrating. And it's not allowing me to actually select the Corvette. So, well, this is definitely a problem. So normally what I would do is just select the Corvette and then make a layer mask. And this is just being very, very difficult today. Because what we want to do is we want for the background to just stay its normal color. And for this adjustment layer to only affect the layer below it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, with my layer selected, which is the Hue Saturation layer, and I'm going to click on my mask. I'm going to turn on my paintbrush. I'm going to change this color to black. And actually, I clicked the wrong button. With my paint, Photopea is very difficult to use. With my paintbrush selected, and the color is selected is black, so we're good. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make my brush size a little bit bigger. That's pretty big, and I'm just going to And it looks like, guys, it looks like my computer and mouse are just disagreeing. So what you would want to do is, with this selected, you're going to paint around everything that isn't the car. And to be honest, you can just turn off your car layer and, well, no, you need to leave it on. So just keep painting around. You can leave the sky off, but just paint around your car as carefully as you can. I am going to be a little bit sloppy because I'm trying to hurry. I'm going to turn my brush size up so we can get all this. And what you should be doing is you should be painting black on this little layer. And that layer is going to help you hide and get rid of everything that isn't the car. Now, if your computer works better than my iPad, then, by all means, have at doing it a different way. But this is how I'm going to have to do it, just so I can show you guys how it works. And we're just going to erase as much of this as we can with my iPad. And you can see I've messed up a little bit. But the beauty is when you mess up a little bit, you can actually just change the color to white and hit OK. And then come back over here. I'm going to decrease my brush size. Come back over here and just paint it back blue. So there we go. All right, the last thing we're going to do that isn't perfect, but hopefully yours looks better. We're going to go ahead and add another adjustment layer. So I'm going to click adjustment layer again, which is this little half circle at the bottom. And this time I'm going to add a curves adjustment. And these are your curves. And the curves help us to shape the tone of the picture. If you've ever seen a filter applied in Instagram or Snapchat, that's really just a curves adjustment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my curves up just a little down. I'm going to click here in the bottom part and drag them down. I'm going to click in the middle and drag them up, and I'm going to kind of just give it a little bit of an S shape. And that kind of gives it a really neat kind of more punchy look. You guys can play around with that and adjust it however you want to adjust it. You can see that it can get pretty crazy when you start doing wild stuff with it. So just add a curves layer, and what you would want to do, what I'm looking for, is I want to see a little bit of a filter kind of look where you've given it some punch. I want to see the Corvette be a different color, and that's it. I want you to turn it in after that. So there we go, another adventure in Photopea that didn't work really well. It's kind of painful to use this program, but we got through it and we kind of have a project done. So do your best, turn in what you can, and we will go from there. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk with you soon. Once again, if you have any questions or issues, email me at william.brown@terrellisd.org. Thanks.